And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Mahalia Michael, who's had 3 near-death experiences, which we're going to learn about and more. Mahalia, thanks for joining me and welcome.
Thank you so much, Jeff. I'm so happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. And Mahalia, let's start with your first one and go from there.
First one was 3 years old. I was dying from pneumonia and was taken to the hospital, rushed there, and in the hospital bed, as my parents were walking out the door because they couldn't stay with me that night, I was given a needle, and next thing I know, woke up in an altered state, in a state of, from my childhood memory of that, of going into a cosmic portal, a cosmic void, which was black, like a womb, black in color, and then through a portal of white light. And it felt like eternity, felt like a moment of freedom and space and no body, no senses, just total freedom. And yet came back to life the next day. So that portal was leading up to 2 other near-death experiences that seemed to carry me through to this moment in time talking with you.
So when you were in the light, did you encounter any beings or get a message, or you just felt love and then came back through the portal?
I felt eternal love, and it was in a very first moment interfacing with the Lyrian High Council of Angels. However, I didn't know it at the time until years later.
Did you physically see angels?
I felt their radiance, and they're very tall and etheric and very white, sparkly beings. So there wasn't a lot of detail. It was more of an energy, a radiance.
You're the first person who's described the Lyrans as angels. Would you say that many of the angels that people talk about are Lyrans?
I feel, and what I've experienced too on different astral planes, and having encountered Archangel Melchizedek, Archangel Metatron, and Gabriel, they're coming in from different dimensions or part of that astral, and the Lyrians coming from thousands of light years away, but yet there can be interfacing with us instantly. It's a state of mind that we open to them and receive them. So they, from what I have seen, are the closest to the great central sun, King Ra, and the portal to heaven on earth, or heaven, the heavenly realms. That is a mere reflection of what we can have here on earth, is heavenly energy.
Are all angels Lyrans?
No, I feel there are all kinds of angels, all kinds of elementals, all kinds of archangels. There are saints and guides and beings among us that are all here with good, positive intentions mostly, and here to help us.
Do you know where archangels come from?
It's like a ladder to the heavens through the astral planes and the levels of existence that they embody, and that they know their job in serving Creator and serving Divine Mother, Father, God. So where they come in from in their astral space, their cosmic glory, it's all royal. It's incredible energy. So when Archangel Melchizedek came, it was right when I was in my recovery later on, this is years later, I had started to listen to hemisync, so doing neurofeedback. And I was starting that. And I'd read a book, Hawking's, in the Hawking Scale of Consciousness. So Melchizedek appeared in my doorway with long, silky blue robe, long white hair, long white beard, his crystal clear blue eyes. And all he said to me was, "You're resonating at 400. You need to go to 420 and higher." He said, "Go up, raise up, lift yourself up now." And I turned up a bit of the hemisync and just kept praying and meditating and letting these acoustics, which that song at the time was called Einstein's Dream, and it was exercising my brain waves, exercising the acoustics of my brain. And ever since that moment, he appeared. He was probably there for maybe a minute. it did turn out that my brain and my body and consciousness did grow. It went up over the years, though, to 500, 600, 700, measured by muscle testing and just levels of consciousness that I reached. And so it was powerful. And when we ask and when we're really grateful for our, just to be here on earth at this time, and when we ask for help, we ask for guidance, because at that time I was really struggling, the Archangel Melchizedek appeared. And so what they showed me and what the Lyrans have showed me and guided me throughout my lifetime now is our body resonates as extraordinary music, and our cells are designed to sing. So when they're singing in tune like a symphony and they're coherent, we really have a lot more energy. And when we have more energy, we feel and can align with our purpose. And also, for me, it opened up this vision I have to see these altered dimensions. So my first near-death really opened this portal to know more about, the omniverse.
Was this hemi-sync music that you were listening to from the Monroe Institute?
Maybe. It's a hemi-sync album. People can Google that, and it's called Einstein's Dream. Yeah. And I listened to it for months after that because I just knew my brain needed it.
So this happened at such an early age. Did you change it?
I'm a Pisces, and I'm very in the mystical realm naturally, and I was as a child. And then I I'm actually medically designated as an MEPG. So it's a genetic trait I was born with, which means I'm multi-exceptional, profoundly gifted, which gives me this expanded state of psychic ability and emotional depth. So through that, it kept me connected with on my path, even though I had that first near death at 3 years old. I did go on to my next one, though, because there was a vibration in my body that created another trauma, which was doing a header off a motorcycle into a garage wall. And time stood still as there was zero pain. Time stood still as I was flying through into this wall, and then the wall disappeared. And I woke up about an hour after the accident. I went unconscious, but I also went through the same portal, this black cosmic vortex into light. There was nothing else happening. I had no body, no senses. After the accident, I had a major concussion and had broken my arm. But the portal was another meeting point with the galactic beings.
All right, let me recap here. So this is your second NDE. You were on a motorcycle that crashed into a wall.
Garage wall, yeah.
And once you hit the wall, or perhaps right before you hit the wall, you went unconscious and went to the black void.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the time we call that the black void, but you're calling it a portal, right?
Yes.
A doorway or a passageway.
Yeah.
And then the light opened again and you went back to this realm of light.
Mm-hmm.
Were you with the Lyran beings again?
Again, I was with this radiance, and they're very gentle, very sensual, very acoustic vibration or frequency. And I want to say that what I've come to know now about this black portal, cosmic dark void, was my leading also up to me interfacing with the whales, because it really represented not only the cosmic womb of creation, but the energy of the depths of the ocean. And then I understood one of my first lifetimes as a whale. And that's also, their whales are connected with the Lyrans and the Pleiadians and the Sirians. And of course, the dolphins are part of what I do with my work. So it's those near deaths brought me to meet these extraordinary beings to serve from the higher frequency, or this radiance, and the radiance that emanates from the crystalline body that we all have, and this golden energy that we're blessed with from Divine Mother, Father, this energy of the sun from within our hearts. So we have the sun god Ra within us, and that permeates the power of 10,000 suns inside. So as a 3D body having these injuries and events, there was an externalization of my consciousness. But after the accidents and injuries and going through this cosmic portal and reaching that radiance and the heavenly vibrations, heavenly realms, and these beautiful galactic beings who are super musical and are here to assist humanity with their own inner music, singing in tune, singing in harmony, was this just a divine remembrance, this holy nature that we are. So I'm so really grateful for it all.
Would you say that the Lyran beings are basically humanoid light beings?
They're very tall, majestic, like really tall, thin trees, and they have long arms and long fingers, and it's as though they're orchestrators or maestros of their realm. It's like closest to the great central sun and the event horizon to where the Garden of Eden is. If we did a reversal and flipped us as Earth the way it has been with our history of trauma, to then go into the Garden of Eden where the Lyrans and this beautiful radiant frequency is more like musical energy. And so I wouldn't call them humanoids, although they are very much walking among us, very much. I generally have about 6 with me, and they want humanity to feel that loving frequency of their radiance, and to remember that we were co-seated with Lyran light, all of us. And so that cat-like energy or bird-like energy takes us to Egypt, to Isis and Sekhmet. The hawk energy of Isis, or the bird energy of Lyra. And we think of the Sphinx as the great lion, the great protector, the one who is of royalty. And this is what is an emanation of our own inner world when we start to align with our inner resonance and our radiance. And this is what the Lyrans helped when I was in my process of awakening and recovering. That is how they helped me to understand how this body really wants to sing.
Most people describe the Lyrans as feline-like. Did you see anything like that or get a sense of that?
Yes, they're feline-like, and for some they can be bird-like, and for me they're a bit of both. It's as though they have these angel wings, and then they have very much a lioness mane, this gorgeous frequency and vibration of total love and angelic love. And from what I have heard of other people's encounters, people experience them all a little differently. And because the ones who have interfaced with me, and apparently they asked my mom when I was born if they could interface with me. They chose me, and they asked her if they could interface with her as well. She said yes to me and no to her, but that's great. Here I am with them, and they're super connected with Egypt. They're super connected with the Lemuarians, the Atlantean technologies, and they represent innocence, vulnerability, and transparency. So what we as a human race are now awakening more to, to think of us as being children of the sun, children of the earth, children of the stars, children of God, creator. That peacefulness and that sense of community, the sense of communication, even with our soul or our spirit, communicating the energy of our hearts. And this is how we used to do it in Egypt times, Lemurian times. The Lemuarians, I've been in the city of Telos many times in Mount Shasta, and they communicate just like the Lyrans do, and they're cousins to the Lyrans. So we think we are walking ETs is how I feel. We're walking light beings, but to me we're in evolutionary transcendence. This is how I think of the word ET. And in evolutionary transcendence, it has to do with our music. So we think about us being fractal beings as well, like the sun shining through a prism and then a rainbow fractalizing out. This is us in our bodies. Think of this, the diamond of us just shifting a little bit and the sun's still shining through. We fractalize new shape, new geometry, new math, and we then upgrade our inner music. Just like Archangel Melchizedek said to me, you've got to go up, take yourself up, keep going in consciousness. But my 3D body, my ego mind didn't know what that meant. All I know is I just had to keep being with these acoustics and doing neurofeedback. Then my body resonated naturally and did its upgrade. And yeah, the Lyrans and more galactic beings, the Pleiadians who delivered me this about 5 years ago, this 4 glyphs on a tablet, like a seal, the circular seal with these sacred symbols from the Pleiades on them. And one of them was the shape of 3 waves. And they were saying, this is time for humanity's transformation. And so it was an incredible experience. They're blue beings, very tall as well, from my experience, and very loving. So they come in peace. If we think of all tribes around the world, when they work together with the earth, they offer something. They have grown to the tribe next to them, and the tribe offers something different. They have grown back. And that's the sharing. That's the innocence, vulnerability, transparency that we as our human race are returning back to.
Did your consciousness leave your body before the impact of the wall?
Yes.
So you never experienced that?
No.
Many near-death experiencers are the same way. And what I mean by that is just before the trauma or the pain would happen to their body, they exit.
Yeah, it happened so fast, and there's no recollection. There is zero feeling of any impact. And on the wall that I went right through, on the other side of it was a rack of 1,000 antique records. So my whole body, my whole head hit the whole wall. My dad had to fix the wall after rebuild it, and all the antique record, the whole wall of 1,000 fell over, but not one of those records broke. And yeah, but I didn't know that the concussion I had would lead me into future head injuries, and it did. So then, so my third NDE was the pizza delivery person was driving really fast and rear-ended my car. So my boyfriend was driving the car at the time, and the car accordioned. It was completely squished in half. So me in the passenger seat ended up in the back. The car was totaled. And when they found me, they thought I was dead on the ground, and that he was screaming my name, I guess. Then the ambulance came, and they didn't know if I was going to make it. But there was no blood. There was no broken bones from that, and I was completely gone. I, again, went through that cosmic dark womb space and into this light, and that light was this extraordinary radiance again. And it wasn't as though I heard voices or saw a lot of detail. It was extraordinary peace and light and love and this feeling of coziness and family in the most loving way. And now I know that, again, was deep, dark ocean to the whale consciousness, because years after I became a whale and dolphin communicator, to, they 24 hours later in the hospital, woke up in the hospital, and they sent me home that day and said I was fine. And I don't even know how I got home that day. I still to this day walked into walls for 3 weeks after. I lived in a condo at a ski resort, and I had to catch an elevator up to my place. So when I'd walk to catch the elevator, I'd tilt and walk wobbly and I hit the wall, and that took 3 weeks for me to just, I guess, come back from that altered state ultimately, if I, really think about it. But getting back to how the brain and body deals with such a major accident is, I think it is pre-consciousness. It's going into some eternity, like there's no beginning and no end. It's totality, and that was amazing. And then from that, took me some years again to recover, but I went to, next thing I know, I was swimming with dolphins off of Big Island. And before I met the dolphins, actually, I went to Maui, and speaking of going pre-consciousness, so there was no one on Little Beach at the time. There was this feeling of, okay, I gotta get in the water. So I didn't have a mask or snorkel on, so I couldn't see anything underwater. All I know is just energy going, saying, okay, get in here. So I went in under the water, and I heard the humpback whales singing, and it's as though I went into that cosmic dark portal again. And the whale sung to my body and brain and awakened this. It was like hearing this ancient piano under the ocean, and these codes, this incredible geometry, this vibe in my body was awakening, and everything seemed to correct itself. But again, I couldn't see and I couldn't sense what. All I know is I was feeling this music, this extraordinary music, and then the radiance in my body lit up. So fast forward after that, I was off Big Island swimming with the dolphins for about 6 months in the wild, and was so blessed one day. What I call a tribe of kahuna dolphins. There was 33 of them, and I had 2 friends there with me. They witnessed the whole thing. They were a different color than all the other swims. They were a little darker in color, and they were bigger, and they swam like little, just, I don't know, cosmic ships, and they circled underneath me, and as though I was hovering like a spaceship, their frequency was elevating me, and I went into an ecstatic state. I went again into radiance, into this bliss, and came out of the water, lit up like a Christmas tree, and had one of the best days of my life. But more, I was in a state of bliss. And the next day, I discovered I had ability for remote viewing and mediumship, and I could see into people's brains and bodies and help them with their music, their inner music, to tune it and to recover. Well, I won't say that. I'll say just amplify their own inner music, their own energy.
Do you fear death?
No. And that took me a while. I feel as though now I know what's on the other side in as far as radiance and in this feeling of eternity. But because I used to be terrified of that. When I was 7 years old, I had 2 distinct dreams of falling and wondering, what is death? How do I grasp that, and how do I understand what eternity really is? But now, after these experiences, and now having communicated with loved ones who have passed over, including my father, who was one of my best friends through my adult years, and knowing he's in such a great place, he's back in Arcturus, he's having a good time, and that. Yeah, so to face the fear of death is I think one of the strongest things we can do as a humanity, because then there's this sense of freedom. And when we have freedom, we can really live our best life, live our dreams, really manifest from the place of our hearts. And to me, part of it is the death of our ego, death of how we perceive or project or judge that around us. To me, we're in a cosmic plasma field of endless energy, and we are in fractalizing nature. We are crystalline bodies that are constantly singing, the cells in our body constantly performing the symphony. And our cells have the ability to continue to upgrade. And if we allow the upgrade, that means we're allowing our body to sing more vividly, and that means more energy. And more energy means new life, new world, new possibilities.
You said your dad's from Arcturus. Are you from there as well?
So my energy is Lyran, and my dad's Arcturus. My mom was pre-Orion, like before the Orion War.
Do you think we're all ETs and we've come here to incarnate and have a human experience?
The word ET, people will think of extraterrestrial, which really means extrasensory perception. And yes, if we think of it that way, 100%, we all have extrasensory perception that we haven't even fully tapped into. Sixth sense, seventh sense, eighth senses. The fact that I can remote view and the clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, acoustic, hearing the inaudibles, hearing the angels, when most people, as adults, we lose that sense, but as children, we had that sense. So mine happened to come back because of being with the whales and the dolphins. So, but think of it as evolutionary transcendence. So we're transcending, certain biological template and remembering our divine blueprint as cosmic galactic beings. We are multidimensional. It's science has proven that we're only 1% physical matter and the rest of us is 99% energy. So I like to focus on the 99% energy, because if we go there, if we sing to our own selves with our own voices, we illuminate the energy that we are 99%, and then we help the 1% that is this physical body. But getting to also the ET part of us, in my experience, I never ever thought I would, as a child or teenager even, or even from all these moments in my life, thought I would be with galactic beings, ever meet them. I never was trying to find UFOs, or was not, I've connected with Sasquatch and great grays. I've had encounters with Zeta Reticuli. But I have an ability to see beyond, and it's instant. It's not difficult. It's a mindset. And I also feel that everyone has that ability, and it's just a matter of practicing that. But getting back to the ET question is, for me, all glory goes to God. All glory goes to total source, Mother, Divine Father, all of the saints and deities, the golden radiance, everything that has given us life. It's such an honor to have this life on this beautiful, glorious earth, and to thrive in our bodies is also a real gift. But how is it possible that we can transform from the inside out? Is what I was shown. Light from Lyrans, some Pleiadian technology, some Arcturian technology, and obviously the number one technology, which is God's source. And Master Beloved Christ, his example of walking from a place of compassion and forgiveness, and also having boundaries. And those boundaries, I feel Jesus, from connecting with the Hathors and the Het and going and spending time in the temples in Egypt and understanding Isis and Sekhmet. The Giza Pyramid was a place where Jesus was taken to go from mortal to giant. And Isis and Sekhmet were already giants, giant bird and giant cat. They took, this is what some reports show, and when I really tune in, I can see that he went from mortal to giant in a pyramid. And inside of us, we have a pyramid. We have this sound chamber, and sound was a very important sacred transmission from the netters, the shamans of Egypt. When they'd wave the ankh when someone was needing help with their consciousness over the nose, and stimulate this temple in here. That's made of incredible mother of pearl energy. So then we get magic, we feel like the power of what the pyramids themselves hold. So we can then consciously teleport, bilocate to the Giza pyramid, download the energy in there, understand ourselves. We can choose to be mortal, but if we recognize we're 99% energy, we're gonna become giants, like who used to walk the earth.
Do you communicate regularly with the Lyrans? And if so, do they have a message for humanity?
Yes, I communicate with them every day. They're always with me. They're a thought away. And their message for humanity is to sing to your life, sing to your body, use your voice to stimulate your inner music. And in so doing, humanity will experience a sense of that bliss, that ecstasy, that nirvana state. It's the state of freedom.
You spoke a couple times about the great central sun. Is that in the center of our galaxy?
There's several great central suns. There's a family of them, masculine and feminine. So we have Alcyon in our solar system. There's several out there, and they build upon one another to the great, great grand Ra, which is the Lemurians honor Ra, the Egyptians honor Ra, the Lyrans honor Ra. So Ra is one of the tones that we can sound out to reunite with our ancient genetics, our ancient ways. And so Ra is the ultimate fire. So if we think of ourselves as the elements too, earth, air, fire, water, ether, and that we are accumulation of the matter of earth, the matter of the cosmos. We're about 70% stardust or so, 70, 80% water. So if we let that body, that technology have its divine communication, we reach Ra, and Ra is in our heart. Ra is the roar of the lion of us, the raw of our inner fire and our inner passion. Really, it's passion, it's power, it's our sensuality, it's our masculine and feminine energy meeting, it's our primordial potent energy with our kundalini energy, all just in this raw state. And you could say raw as in R-A-W as well. So just, this is me, raw. And then, how we, for me, our body is the number one technology. I call it awakened intelligence. And so when we tune in and we really pray, we really ask for this guidance and support to let our bodies resonate and really truly vibrate from the cosmic part as opposed to just the physical 3D part, we will enter these portals that will help us connect more with our loved ones, with the animals. Animals are intelligent, sentient beings, and we coming in the days to come, the years that is going to be protection for all of life, because all of life is sentient. Everything is awake, aware, alive. And backing up to your question about fear of death, in my journeys and in my encounters over the years, is this sense of, in that musical system of us, in the sacred geometry and the sacred math, we're really constantly fractalizing. So for those of you who've lost loved ones, they simply, their diamond radiance. This is what the Lyrans also love to share, and is that it's morphed into a new geometry and new music. So they're singing. So if we listen for their music, and you'll probably get a message.
You said you've also been in the city of Telos inside of Mount Shasta.
See,
how did you get in there? Like just with your consciousness?
With consciousness. First time I went was, I want to say 15 years ago, with a guide who took me to 3 different doorways. So we circled up in a vehicle around Mount Shasta to 3 different points of entry. And the guide just pointed towards basically where a rock was and a bunch of beautiful trees and said, okay, just go that way. And she went her way and sat somewhere. And I just walked towards this boulder type, big looking cave entry point. And next thing I know, it became a etheric doorway. And their little Lemuarians poked their heads out like a little family to greet me. And I entered Telos, and they showed me their technology. They showed me how they live. They showed me their families. They're also very etheric. They're very white and radiant, similar to the Lyrans. The Lyrans, though, are more the cat with the angel wings, the bird-like angel wings, and they're much, much, much taller. And they all have their own personalities, but the way they communicate is through radiance. It's through this energy. And they don't use physical words like how we do. And they work with a diamond light. They're very much about, it's as though between the Lyrans and Lemuarians and all these other galactic beings I've encountered, weaving a radiant web with Divine Mother Earth. And this radiant web is connected with her ley lines, her sacred sites, her sacred mountains, her waters. And because they're super acoustic and very refined, they can work with such refined diamond dust. This diamond dust is gradually just weaving a higher connection for us for this earth to have her blessings, to have her Kundalini awakening, and for humanity to have theirs.
You're also a musician, and I listened to your album Mermaid Island, and you've done a good job with it, and I put it on in the background while I was doing my work. It's my understanding that you channeled either the music or the words in the album, right?
Yes, thank you, Jeff. I'm so happy you enjoy Mermaid Island, Walking on Water. That was released last March with my producer, Liv Singh-Kalsa from Invincible Music. And we wanted to put out an album that really touches people's hearts and assists them to connect with the beautiful energy of the whales and dolphins. So we have sounds in there of the whales and dolphins from the 1970s, and then my own vocals being channeled with their energy. And it was really fun to make it. And we are so happy when people enjoy it. And it helps them with their work, falling asleep. It's really relaxing.
What kind of messages were you channeling on the album?
The energy of the ocean, the energy of how the beings in the ocean are ultra intelligent, and for their intelligence to come through in this sacred frequency. And through my vocals, it's tuned to 432. The music's all in the universal tone, universal cosmic, this radiance, the vibration. So we, just want to make the world a better place. So we made that album for humanity.
I'll put a link to the YouTube channel below so other people can listen to it.
Thank you. And I want to say, with music and using my vocals, I had music teachers when I was younger who told me that I couldn't really sing in tune and that I was tone deaf and that I needed to lip sync. So I never ever also imagined I would have had my voice on an album or a couple albums now. And the thing is that I invite the audience to really fall in love with their voice, and when we speak, we're actually making sigils. We're creating cymatics in this plasmic womb we're in. And so when you listen to my album, the album is very much made intentionally with this invocation or prayer And that's so I am a DJ as well. And in one time a trip to Kauai, I had another entry into Lemuria through this water. I was 25 and taken to one of the oldest Hindu monasteries. Sorry, I was at this time in my turning 30. 25 was Australia. That's another story. But this Hindu monastery is still there. It's one of the oldest in the world. There was 33 monks. And somehow I was taken by the monks to see the foundation of this incredible temple that they were building, a temple to last 1,000 years. It was gorgeous, and there was these incredible slabs that were shipped in from India with incredible sacred art and shapes, and these massive Buddhas and Kuan Yins. And they took me to this side of a mountain and showed me the doorway to their cave where they meditate. They said I wasn't allowed to go in there, but I could keep going down the mountain to this beautiful pool of water. It was kind of big. And so they said, you go rinse off and come back. We'll meet you. So I went down to this water, and as soon as I got in, I went into another portal, which was bottomless. The water, it was bottomless to what I perceive now as, well, Lemuria and the gateway to another altered dimension in Earth and stargates. Because the Lyrans showed me that whales and dolphins embody on a rainbow bridge. They come down, and even with Joan Ocean's work, she talks about the dolphins come in on starships. And I was once walking on a beach and I was tripped by a starship hitting a protective, between countries, Canada and the US. The starship bonked on this cord, and it sent a wave when I was walking the beach, and I was knocked back. But getting back to Kauai, so after this Lemurian portal experience in this water, and I saw an owl in the trees that wasn't there before, and this owl looked like an owl from Harry Potter. So I came back up, and I spent about another week at the Hindu monastery doing puja and helping, sweeping and cleaning around the banyan trees. It was very, very magical. So when I was ready to leave, I was at a coffee shop, and this guy was in a Galactic, some sort of astrologer, and he kept saying, I need to do a reading for you, you must. And I kept saying, no, I'm good. But finally I gave in. He said, I'll take you to a sacred portal. Well, he took me to this beach where there was tons of dolphins swimming. Then we were in his vehicle. He opened up this map with a man on the map. It was all laminated, and it looked like Nostradamus. And he pointed to his knee, Nostradamus's knee, and there was some sort of a planet there. It was so long ago, and I was not super conscious at that point, but he said, this is you. You're a conductor of music. This is what you must do. But then I still had a lot of, awakening to do. And I was also told I was tone deaf and his lip sync and not, but fast forward, here I am with my album Mermaid Island and using my voice and hopefully really encouraging others to understand their body as a musical instrument. And ultimately, that's what the Lyrans and Lemuarians and the Pleiadians, they're frequency beings. They vaporize, and that's how I can see them so easily. Because for me, as a mermaid and galactic being, I vaporize, and that's how I can see them and communicate with them. So I enter my own energy, my Merkaba, and it's very, very quick. So then I teleport, bilocate, and through that with my remote viewing, the remote viewing, even like instant x-rays, the way a dolphin does, it just happens very naturally now. And again, I believe everybody has that ability. It's just a matter of practice, matter of taking the time to let that happen and trust that. And I used to fear what was on the other side of my old self. And I didn't know that on the other side was the state of contentment and the state of when we connect with with Divine Mother Father, God, the creator of all it is, we feel a sense of eternal joy, and we're eternally plugged in. There's nowhere else to go after that but living life to the fullest. Living life with joy, and then feeling that we are loved here and we are safe and we are the creators of this reality. And this reality, Lemuria, Atlantis, Lyra, they're heavenly realms. There's sacred temples there. They're immortal beings. They live. They don't count their years. They live by their music, if that makes sense.
Mahalia, what is your website if people want to find out more about what you're up to?
It is Brain, BRAIN hyphen Bliss, BLISS.com.
Mahalia, before we finish up, can you leave us with a last positive message?
Yes, I'd love to, Jeff. Thank you. And it's the Lyrians. They want to come through and share some light language with you. And you'll see my hands move. It's as though it's their hands, their fingers, and they do mudras. So I'll speak from them and then I will translate. The Lyrian High Council of Angels, they're royal beings. Ku inya mi inya kutut itya unam esati kiokoe muut atya ki ut an vis eya tokotoen mi inya uenya kushoshon simyawe etioa kurut en hama ewata kusum kinya. The Lyrian said, thank you for welcoming them. Thank you, brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers. Thank you, families of light, for hearing us. Thank you for your willingness to better understand us. We are here in service to you. We send our love to you, and we welcome your requests to serve, as well as we wish for you to feel our childlike nature. Muchas gracias. Thank you.
Mahalia, thank you for the message, and thank you for being my guest.
Loved it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching the JeffMara podcast. I really appreciate you. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. And if you do, there are loyalty badges and other perks depending on your level of membership. All you need to do is click the join button underneath the video to find out more. Thank you for your support.